Today we're going to look at 20 idioms used in business. These are expressions that people use when they talk about business. Using them will help you sound more natural and professional. Some of these idioms are quite common, so let's look at the less common ones first. Number 1, think outside the box. This means to be creative and think of new ideas. For example, we need to think outside the box to attract new clients. Number 2, you are in the loop. If you are in the loop, you are informed. For example, I want to stay in the loop about the negotiations. On the other hand, out of the loop means not informed. For example, I felt out of the loop when they made the decision. Next, hit the ground running. This means to start doing something immediately with a lot of energy. For example, the new sales team hit the ground running. If a plan fails, you can say it's back to the drawing board. This means you have to start again from the beginning. For example, our strategy didn't work, so it's back to the drawing board. Some of these idioms have to do with being successful and beating the competition. To corner the market means to dominate an area. For example, they have cornered the market in online courses. To cut corners means to do something cheaply or quickly. Often this means sacrificing quality. For example, the company cut corners on safety and paid the price. When something is difficult but not a big disaster, you can say a learning curve. For example, managing a big team was a steep learning curve. Another one is ahead of the curve. This means to be more innovative than others. For example, this company is ahead of the curve in technology. And if you can get things started, you can say get the ball rolling. For example, let's get the ball rolling on this project. When you're in a meeting, you might hear people say touch base. This means to make brief contact. For example, I'll touch base with you next week. Or another one, by the book. This means to follow rules and instructions. For example, the accountant does everything by the book. Now let's look at some more common idioms. The big picture means to see the overall perspective. For example, we need to focus on the big picture, not just small problems. If you call the shots, you are the decision maker. For example, the CEO calls the shots in this company. When someone brings something to the table, they offer their skills or ideas. For example, she brings valuable experience to the table. These are all great idioms. But what does business as usual mean? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It means things are operating normally. For example, it was business as usual after the storm. Some of these idioms have to do with overcoming problems. To weather the storm means to survive a difficult situation. For example, the business weathered the storm during the crisis. If you raise the bar, you raise the standards. For example, their success raised the bar for competitors. Think on your feet means to think and react quickly. For example, the manager had to think on his feet during the meeting. Another one is play hardball. This means to act tough, especially in negotiations. For example, the supplier is playing hardball on prices. And lastly, a win-win situation is when everybody benefits. For example, the partnership was a win-win for both companies. So there you go, 20 idioms that you can use in your business conversations. Remember, you don't have to use all of them at once. Just pick a few that you like and use them naturally. And if you want to become fluent in business English faster, click here to get your free trial. See you soon.